Hi there, welcome back to the channel. FPL is finally back. Yes, I've enjoyed the break. Yes, I enjoyed the Euros, but there's nothing like Fantasy Premier League. I'm happy it's back. The game launched yesterday. Please tell me you've already logged in, created a team, and hopefully done a couple of drafts. Yeah, I'm sure you have. This season, we've got so much to look forward to. First and foremost, there's been a lot of price changes, so stick around for that. We're going to discuss some of those prices. We've got the transfer window, players leaving and coming. That's going to impact the game. And lastly, and most important part of this, is the new features. FPL have finally made changes. If you've played FPL for a long time like me, you will know that they hardly ever make changes. They do a little tweak here and there, but this season, we have significant changes. In fact, two of those changes are so important, I think they're going to alter and change the way you play FPL going forward. Let's get into it. So, what are these new features FPL have released? Right, let's go through them one by one. I'm going to start with a big one. Now you can roll up to 5 transfers. This is huge. Normally you were capped at 2, which meant you get 1 free transfer a week. If you don't use it this week, you have 2 next week. But if you didn't use it that week, you don't get 3 or 4. Nope, you burn those transfers. Now you can save them. Very significant. I know it's rare we get to keep 5 transfers with injuries and whatnot, but still the potential is there. It's almost like a mini wild card. For you to be able to make 4 or 5 changes without costing you points, that's pretty big. Can change formations, can change styles. You can go from 1 premium to 2 premiums. It just opens up the game strategy wise. Very, very important. It remains to be seen how many of us managers ever reach 4 or 5 transfers in the bank, but still, that being there changes the dynamics in the game. So that's the first feature they've changed, and it's a pretty big one. Another feature they've added to the game is the mystery chip. It's so mysterious that we don't even know what it is. I'm not sure they know what it is, but we will know in January. So in some ways, it's something to look forward to. It's a bit of a carrot, keeping us managers going, plodding along. For all we know, it could be a massive change. It could be a chip that, for example, allows you to play 4 captains in 1 game week, something like that, which could be just huge. So it's something to look forward to. As I said, not sure what it's going to be. There's been no clues. It's just a mystery chip, and it is a mystery at the moment. The third feature, it's the pitch design. So this is more aesthetics. If you saw the last season, I wasn't the biggest fan of the look and feel of the app and the website. I always thought it had potential to be, I don't know, just better with graphics and accessibility and just, I don't know, more animations. So they've made some changes. You need to log in and see for yourself. In fact, when you do log in, get in the comments and let me know if they're any good. I'm gonna keep my opinions to another video because I'd love to hear your opinions of what you feel the changes. So this is more aesthetics of how the site looks and feels with clarity and whatnot. So yeah, get in the comments and let me know what you think about that. The 4th feature is a big one. Along with feature number 1, I think this is the most important one. In fact, it's so important, I'm going to give it another video dedicated just to this because we need to go into real detail. That's how much it's going to impact of how we play this game. But basically, they've changed the points scoring system, especially bonus points and how they're gathered. Having a quick look and giving you a bit of an overview, it looks like the attackers are going to benefit more. The defenders could suffer more from these changes. How can that impact us? Well, we might go for cheap defenders, 4 million, 4.5s, and avoid the expensive 6.7 million defenders if we know they're hardly ever going to get bonus points and they're always going to return the baseline, which is a clean sheet if you're lucky. Where else the attackers, if this data supports the attackers and it means, say for example, our captain, we can base it on this knowing the player's more than likely going to get the bonus point, 3 points, double it, 6 points. That's pretty significant. So this one here is going to be very, very important. Without a doubt, there'll be another video where we can go into full detail and how we can utilize this to our advantage. I love the way how FPL tried to disguise this one as a feature they've introduced, when in reality, the Premier League had to make changes to the FA Cup and the replays due to the new Champions League layout with more teams and just the congestion of games. So now we're going to get less carnage, which means less double game weeks, less blanks. I'm still not sure if this is a good or a bad thing. Something we can discuss and we will know more about as the season goes along, but it's one of the things they've put in as a new feature. And last but not least, to be honest, it's not to do with FPL, it's the other FPL mode, where not drafts, but FPL challenge, which they introduced last season, which is pretty good. If you've got the patience to persevere with it, there is some fun in it. They're going to basically introduce new features, new game modes. Again, like the mystery chip, the new features are a mystery in the FPL challenge. So just stick around for that. When they do come out, when they are discussed in detail, I will let you know. Player prices, again, something else which is very, very important. We're going to have a look at some of the big hitters. I'm not going to go through all of them. There'll be other videos where I talk about the best transfers and getting a bit more detail with variety of players. But for now, let's run through a couple of these. Let's start with the main man himself, is Haaland. Just look at his price. You need to be shopping in Harrods to pick up Haaland. 15 million. That takes a big percentage of your budget. To be honest, it's a change was needed. I mean, he was a perma captain at some stages last season. He scores a lot of goals. Man, he plays for the best team as well. They had to do something where we could make us think, do we go him or do we go two players? Potentially you could go, say, a Foden and someone else and not go him. That's the difference. That's how expensive he is. So Haaland's the big talking point this summer. He's been hiked up to 15 million. Let me know in the comments if you think that's a rip-off, or guess what, you don't care, you're paying it. Next up, I want to talk about Son. It's gone down to 10 million, a player which could make a mockery of that price. Yes, I know loads are thinking, oh, he's past it, he's getting old, but he does play for Spurs, attacking team, and if he does play up front out of position at 10 million, who knows? Palmer, this guy broke the game last season. He came in so cheap. No one expected that impact. I didn't. We all knew he was touted as a very good young player, but we saw the way he ended the season. In fact, he carried some of that form into the Euros. Every time he came on, he impacted the game. But have a look at his price. It shows it's 10.5. Very, very expensive. He's not one where you could just put him in like last season and not worry about it. Expensive. Mohamed Salah, huge big hitter, FPL king. Yes, I know in the last couple of years Haaland's taken him that crown, but Salah is still there. Fresh trim, new manager, but interestingly enough, 12.5 billion. So you could go him. He's a perfect captain candidate, but yet save Devil's money, that 15 million you would normally spend for Haaland. So again, the game's getting you to think. And I really like that. A couple of other players I've put underneath me, you can have a look now. Saka has gone to 10 million. We've got KDB gone down to 9.5 million. Interesting. This is a player, I know a lot of people are thinking, again, he's old. There's a lot of discussion whether he even stays at City, because I think he's been touted in the Saudi league. But if he does stay, he can make a mockery of that price. Phil Foden had a great season last one. 9.5 million, he's gone up, and rightly so. Watkins, breakout striker season, he was astonishing. 9 million. Isaac, top player, and I think he's at a great price, 8.5 million. They've made the forwards relevant. Last season everyone stacked up in midfield and we were desperate for strikers, but I can already see 3 or 4 in this list right here. Then we've got Bruno Fernandes. Now I know 8.5 million seems pretty steep for a player that we saw last season, but his numbers were still good. We have to remember he was feeding the attackers, but unfortunately the attackers weren't delivering. If Ten Hag can get the attackers firing, we know for a fact Bruno will be there getting those assist points. Then we've got Havertz, great end to last season, took that form into Germany in the Euros as well. 8 million forward, again makes you think there's already 3 or 4 forwards here, isn't there? Last season we were really struggling, so this is good pricing by FPL. And last but not least, I thought I'll put one defender in here. Trent, new management. It'll be interesting to see, does he invert? Does he stay wide right? Does he go further forward? Who knows what's going to happen? But at 7 million, there's potential here. I did discuss earlier on the bonus points potentially impacts the defenders, but if we're talking about a player that could keep clean sheets, take set pieces, just the potential is there with Trent. So it's another player I like the price of, and overall, from my early analysis, the prices look pretty good. So what do these prices actually mean to us, and how do they impact us? What is the difference from this season to last season? Well, I've done a quick example. I've drafted a little team here. This attack you can see in this picture, which is Saka, KDB, Foden, Palmer, Haaland, Watkins and Nunes. I had this last season with good defenders and a decent keeper. Now, have a look at this. That same attack with the cheapest defense and cheapest bench possible, you'd still be minus 3.5 million. That's how much of a change the pricing is. And remember, KDB's cheaper, than last season. So it tells you how much the other players have been buffed up. Significant change. I think you're going to have to think much more carefully when you're crafting your team. You won't be able to just fit in all the big hitters. You have to make the decision. Do you go Salah? Do you go Haaland? Do you go Palmer and Saka and maybe Son as 3 premium midfielders and forget Salah and Haaland? There's a lot of different ways of playing it this season. Well, I really hope so. We know how things change with its injuries, and once the data starts coming in with players after pre-season, we'll get a better idea. But at the moment, this is the positive part of the new pricing. Teams like this last season, which I saw in my mini league, basically teams were stacked. You had everyone, you covered every base. Now you won't and you can't do that. Just look at this example here. Minus 3.5 million short, you just can't do it. I hope you enjoyed the video, but more importantly, I hope you found the video useful. It's the first video to kick off the season. It's still just pre-season mode, but it's nice to get going. Stick around because we're going to have loads more content this season. Collaborations. I will be collaborating with FPL Royalty. Other huge YouTube FPL managers will be coming on my channel discussing FPL, giving you the best tips possible. And last but not least, I have a huge announcement. But guess what? I can't say it yet. It's embargoed. But once that's gone, I will tell you. God, this is sounding like the mystery chip all over again. But trust me, you don't need to wait to January. This is imminent. It will be coming very, very soon. So stick around, get the notifications on, press that subscribe button. Hopefully enjoy the videos, and FPL's back.